And welcome back, everyone. So today, interesting article. Has the childhood home of Jesus been found? So traditionally, a major Catholic pilgrimage site is in Italy is the Loreto Shrine, which is supposed to be the original home of Jesus in Nazareth that was transported after the Crusades miraculously. Now, this I'm not going to comment on that one way or another. I don't think anyone's bound to believe it, but regardless of what you believe, regardless of what you think of that tradition, I'm willing to give it a little more, a bit of credence. The house of Jesus of Nazareth would have had to have been on original foundation at some point. So let's take a look at what they think they found archaeologically. In honor of Ken Dark's 2020 book, we republished this article, the first here in BHD, and opened up the full Biblical Archaeology Review article to be read for everyone. Let's take a look. Childhood home of Jesus of Nazareth may have been found underneath Sisters of Nazareth Convent, Nazareth, Israel, according to archaeologist Ken Dark. This very well could have been the childhood home of Jesus. It doesn't look inviting. This rock-hewn courtyard house was quite likely Jesus' home in Nazareth. That's the Holy House. The recent excavation by Ken Dark, and Nazareth Archaeological Project has revealed good evidence to suggest this is where Jesus was raised. So I wonder what the evidence is. So here's what's interesting. You find an ancient Israelite house, like a house from Roman times, under a convent in ancient Israel. Okay, great. How do you know that's the right house? How do you know that this one, like Nazareth was a village. It's populated by people other than Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. How do you know which house it is? In human terms, Jesus would have lived like just about everyone else. Let's take a look. So let's see what case they're making. The excavation site located beneath a convent has been known since 1880, but it was never professionally excavated until the Nazareth Archaeological Project began its work in 2006. Ken Dark, the director of the Nazareth Archaeological Project, not only describes the remains of the home itself, but explores the evidence that suggests that this is a place where Jesus spent his formative years, or at least a place regarded in the Byzantine period as the childhood home of Jesus. Excavation revealed a first-century courtyard house that was partially hewn from natural rock naturally occurring, and partially constructed with rock-built walls. Many of those features are still intact, including doors and windows. That's impressive. Also found at the site were tombs, a cistern, and later a Byzantine church. I remember hearing about this a few years ago, actually. And I also find this interesting because why are you putting especially if the tombs date from slightly after the time of Jesus? Because we know that the people of Nazareth did not accept Jesus' claim to be Messiah. And I'm thinking about how they desecrated cultic sites they did not like in the Old Testament. They would bury people there, keep people from worshiping there. Because throughout most cultures, they considered burial places to be ritually unclean, even if they regarded as places of respect. It was like you would not bury someone in a churchyard, like today. That was true both for Jews and pagans at the time. So I'm just wondering out loud. Feel free to challenge me. This is a partially educated guess, so do not come down on me. This is my disclaimer. Could that be like evidence of ritual desecration? And later Byzantine church. I'm wondering when those tombs date to. The remains combined with a inscription found in the 7th century pilgrim account, De Loca Sanctus, point to the courtyard house found beneath the convent as what may have been regarded as Jesus' home in Nazareth. Archaeological and geographical evidence from the Church of the Annunciation, the Information Marian Center, and Marysville come together to suggest that this location may be where Jesus transitioned from boy to man. Ken Dark also discusses the relationship between the childhood home of Jesus Nazareth, important site of Sepphoris. It has been thought that Sepphoris would have provided Joseph work and Jesus many important cultural experiences. So I'll give an example. Like I've heard that, for example, Jesus used a very Greek word to describe hypocrite. It means like it's a Greek word for actor. It's a very uniquely Greek word that Jesus would have used. And that very people suggest that why is Jesus using such a Greek word and Greek term in the Bible? I've heard it suggested that he may have picked it up by visiting Sepphoris right next door. However, Ken Dark believes that Nazareth was a larger town than traditionally understood, was particularly Jewish in its identity, as opposed to the Roman-influenced Sepphoris. So it was a very Jewish nationalistic town, apparently. This is partially based on the result of his survey that now held the Sepphoris region that separates Sepphoris and Nazareth geographically. I'm not familiar with that survey, actually. It'd be interesting to read. For more on the childhood home of Jesus, read the full article. Has Jesus' Nazareth house been found? Again, probably another article. So, tradition, I have spoken with archaeologists. Traditions like this, trigger warning to Protestants, are actually quite significant and are more authentic than people realize, frequently more authentic than people realize. But it can vary. Now, for example, in Rome, when they dug under Peter's tomb, they found Peter. They knew exactly where Peter was. Everything was as what was expected to be. That being said, in the case of Peter's tomb, Christians had always been there. There has been archaeological evidence from within the living memory of Peter's life that said that this is Peter's tomb. And everyone knew where it was for centuries, and they were able to preserve continuously the last 6 feet. And there's evidence of that from like within the living memory of Peter. This house, it's like 600-700 years after Jesus is when it's being commemorated as Jesus' house. And we don't have anything from like any inscriptions or graffiti from like within the living memory of Jesus at the site. Doesn't mean it couldn't be. Doesn't mean it's not. And it very well may be this very well may be the house of Jesus. But can we confirm it 100% archaeologically? No. It'd be interesting if you could find like an ancient inscription of ancient graffiti. From like that could be dated from like within shortly after the time of Jesus when he walked the earth. He said this is the site. That would be I would be really have to study really closely, and I have to check if it's a forgery, etc. Because people would try to forge that sort of thing. It's a high stakes game. Biblical archaeology is a very high stakes game. So yeah, what do you think? Comment down below. Is this the house of Jesus of Nazareth? Is this his childhood home? Is this the authentic location? Do you think the Byzantines got it right? Think it's just they found a nice Jewish home, happened to want to place commemorate Jesus's childhood home, and just build a church over the site? What do you guys think? Authentic or not? God bless. And if you ever get a chance, check out an SSPX church. God bless.